Atoto arere, atoto arere o, tojo maro eyoko kike o.
Ekabo.
Welcome to Ile I Babaluaiye Healing Ritual.
Yes. It's that time again.
I know.
What a wonderful way to close out this season where we begin to go in. So you're so welcome. We say Ekabo, Akwaba, Hetapu, Karibuni. You're welcome here. So we are celebrating Babaluaiye.
Yes.
Baba, tell us who Babaluaiye is.
Babaluaiye is a deity of healing, of change and transition. Babaluaiye is one of those deities that you really need to learn more about. A lot of times they talk about all these different deities, but he is the one that is in charge of healing.
Yes.
He's in charge of us making a change in our lives.
Yes.
And so that's why at Ile I we celebrate him at the end of the year so that we can bring a good closing to the end of the year.
For 16 days, Mother
16
Adjua.
full days.
My name is Bokor Iyameri, and I'm one of the founders of Ile I. This is Baba Obasanjo, and he's the Babalawo of the Ile, and this is Mother Adjua, and she is the administrative leader of Ile I. And we are here surrounded by members, RAs, and just a whole lot of love. So as Baba said, Babaluaiye is about healing. He is the deity, the Orisha of disease, of pain and suffering, but he's also the divinities that bring healing, that changes our pain from pain to cure. So it is a good time for us as we slow down in this season to really think about what we want to manifest in our lives. So we have 4 themes, right?
Yes.
4 themes that we're going to focus on for this year. And they're themes of healing, themes of spirituality, abundance, and change and transition. So as we close out this year, we know that this is a time to go in. So we are looking at how is nature and the supernatural, the natural and the supernatural world, how these themes play out. For instance, in terms of, let's take health, right? We know that there are all these things that we see, the herbs, the fruit, the vegetables, the trees, the plants, that are here for our healing. So from the natural perspective, we can use these elements and transform them in a sense in terms of making teas and swabs and all these different type of things that can bring in healing. But as far as the supernatural, what are ways that we can think about health?
On the supernatural side, there are lots of things that we can do. And here at Ile I for this ritual, we are going to have these presentations for them. We're going to have meditations. We're going to have information. We're going to have libations. We're going to have all of these things so that we can assist in their healing process.
Yes.
Because Ile I is an institution that wants to promote healing to our community.
Exactly. How about you, Mother Adjua? What is, from a spiritual perspective, from the supernatural perspective, what are some of the ways that we can facilitate health and healing?
How can we facilitate health and healing? Well, one of the things that we look at is, I guess, you're looking at it within you, your divinity within you, and how you approach spirituality in relationship to how you see yourself in, say, for instance, meditation, your relationship with God, how you look at things positive. And looking at this time of year and why we are focusing on the healing is because this is the time where people are basically thinking about what they've done this year, and people are depressed, and people are going through all kinds of transition of looking at what they're going to do next year. So we're here to help you and guide you in ways that you can move forward in a good way, in a positive way, in a spiritual way, in making a change in your life.
So I'm hearing that we are going to be facilitating and working with our community in terms of reflection,
Right.
what we have done throughout the year,
Right.
some of the challenges that we've faced, some of the things that we've had to overcome. So that reflective aspect is very important. And then setting intentions, that's also very important. How we, what's the outlook? You know, what's the hope, what's the promise, and how are we going to approach it? And I think when we talk about health and healing, how do we prepare ourselves? Now, Baba, you talked about prayers and meditation and really looking at our spiritual life and how we can cue that up to prepare us to go into this season of stillness, this season of reflection and not so much movement, right? It's a time that we can really strengthen ourselves. So let's turn now to the priests and the RAs did this wonderful altar here.
It's beautiful.
It is absolutely beautiful. What are some of the things that are on this altar that we can talk about? Of course, it's in tribute to Babaluaiye, who's the center focal point here.
One of the things that we could speak about is these grains. So when we talk about these grains, and then we have a very powerful ritual that we do with these grains that we want you to participate in, because it's able to provide some cleansing, and it's able to move you forward, take things away that needs to be taken away. So grains are one of those things that we can talk about. We could also talk about these eggs, that what an egg is shows potential for something to come to pass. So what we want to do is we want to show that potential, we can make it what we want to come to pass. So that is where we have the eggs, we have the fruits and the vegetables, which is nutrition and getting us into a place where we are healthy and where we are strong. And then of course we have Babaluaiye himself, which is the catalyst for all of these things happening. Babaluaiye is the center point of making sure that if we want to utilize all these things here, that we should use Babaluaiye.
Absolutely, and I agree. And it looks like we have various grains and beans, and we know that when you talk about potentiality, that these can lay dormant for thousands of years almost, and all that's necessary is that perfect environment, right? Well, the environment doesn't even really need to be perfect. It just needs to be an environment that could spark some changes, right? And so what I'm seeing here, I see some black-eyed peas, which is traditional around this time of the year, some red beans, some black beans, some navy beans, and some pinto beans, and some corn, and some other kind of beans. I'm not sure what these are. But so we have all these beans, and then the eggs that you talked about in terms of it. It not only represents the possibilities, but also it can absorb some of the negativity that surrounds us. And then, of course, we have some of the alkaline fruits and vegetables, as well as magnetic fruits and vegetables. The root vegetables, the potatoes, the squashes, all those things, those are magnetic. And then we have the alkaline stuff here. And then, of course, we have Ajay, and Ajay is very much associated with Babaluaiye in that Ajay was in the forest. You know that story? In the forest. Ajay was in the forest, and she didn't want to be floating around all the place. She wanted to have a space where she could be. And so she went into the forest, of course, and Babaluaiye was there, and she had to make an abo so that she could be there as well. But Ajay represents the abundance part that you talked about,
Yes.
the abundance and the wealth that can come from Ajay.
So our theme is right here.
Our theme is right
Here
here.
we talk about spirituality, we do our ritual with our brains, and we talk about health. We have our vegetables and fruits, and we talk about abundance. We say Ajay, the same thing. We look at all this is plentiful, and of course change and transition.
Yeah.
And one thing that you have to say is all this stuff is alive here.
Yes.
Even the grains you can plant and they will come and
Yeah,
reproduce. So it just shows that things evolve.
You know, one of the things here that we didn't talk about
What?
is this light that's here.
That light.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how light is so very much important to all of this that we're talking about.
Yeah.
All of that requires that light, requires that energy,
Mhm.
requires that vision that you want to have. You want to move from a place that is in the past to what you want to have happen and what you want to see happen in the future.
Yeah.
It is also very important.
Well, like as members of Ile I, we are always doing light rituals and the importance of that light and the burning of that flame and what that represents. So yes. Of course, Babaluaiye's vessel is right there. It's typically made of a clay pot, and it either has holes in it or it's spotted. And inside there is the arrow. The arrow means like antidote or medicine for whatever is ailing you or whatever is concerning you.
Yes.
So Babaluaiye presents that. And then the word Babaluaiye or Babaluaiye, you know, what can we talk about what that means?
Babaluaiye, the Baba who is the owner of the earth.
Yes.
So that is Babaluaiye.
So Father of the earth, Father of the world, Owner of the world. That's Babaluaiye. And I think there was a time in Nigeria where Babaluaiye was very much needed, and was during the the flu pandemic and all these epidemics. So Babaluaiye is who we're going to be celebrating. So we invite you to prepare your space, to create an altar. We're going to provide all the information that you need in which to do that, to set up your space and how to do that. There's a special way to do that. We're going to provide all that information for you. We're going to dig deep in the themes and hopefully, spark some interest in terms of transformation and how you're going to shift and change during this time, and hopefully prepare for the elevation, the rising, the expanding, the growing and developing of each and every one of us. And it's important because we need each other, and it's not only what's going on in here, that's important. But what's really important is what's going on in the world. And when we look at humanity has caused a lot of problems for a lot of other entities that exist. However, humanity can begin to correct itself. And so hopefully we can set that stage so that we can express love, healing, abundance, increased spirituality for each other and for our community.
Yes. So we welcome you.
We welcome you. And think about healing in all ways, emotional, mental, and physical.
Ashe.
Omi tutu, ona tutu, ele tutu, tutu ori, tutu egun, tutu ifa, tutu la roye. Ola dumare majuba, oba terere kai. Majuba ikberum le shokotun, majuba ikberum le shokosun, majuba kanwani, majuba rumala, ilire pin, majuba koda, majuba sheda, majuba wan ia. Bokbo orisha majuba, bokbo avasum majuba. We call upon you, Eshu, Ogun, Ochosi, Obatala, Oya, Shango, Kabiesi. Yemanja Oshun, Shapana, Babaluaiye Osain. We call upon you, all of the Orisha. We call upon all of our collective ancestors, and we ask that you continue to be with us. We call all the Holy Spirits of light, and we ask that you be with us, that you open up the way for us for blessings in this event that we are about to partake in. So we ask that you be with all of those who are participating, that they may truly have healing. We call upon you, all of the healers. We call upon you, Babaluaiye. We call upon you, Shapana. We call upon you, all the forest deities. We call upon all of the Orisha. And we ask that you be with us as we honor you at this time. And we ask that you stand strong and from behind us with all of the participants that were here. We ask that you guide them. We ask that you protect them. As we leave the old year and we move into the new year, and this is the time of the year for cleansing. This is the time of the year for spirituality. This is the time of the year where we make plans for the new year. So we ask that you open up the way. We ask that you stand strong and from behind us. Be with us in all that we do. We say Ashe, 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 oh.
Disease and disasters come and go like the rain, but health is like the sun that illuminates the entire village. Babaluaiye is an Orisha within Ifa Orisha religion. Ifa Orisha religion, as well as other African religions, are not complicated, though they may be complex. Most are based on oral traditions. There are three main concepts that I would like to share about African religions. Number one, a belief in a supreme being. Number two, a belief in divinities who receive authority from the supreme being and spirits such as ancestors. And number three, our relationship with the supreme being and the divinities. This includes our practice, worship, rites, and rituals, as well as how we experience everyday life. An Orisha is a divinity within Ifa Orisha religion that's practiced amongst the Yoruba people of Nigeria, the Fon people of Benin and Togo, the Ewe people of Ghana, and other parts of Africa, as well as throughout the Caribbean and the Americas and other places. So keep that in consideration as we briefly talk about the numbers of adherents in some religions. In Hinduism, there are approximately 1.2 billion adherents. Christianity has approximately 2.4 billion. In sub-Saharan Africa, statistics show adherents to number over 100 million. However, Ifa Orisha religion is not only practiced in Africa. It has many denominations and is practiced all over the world in many different traditions. Therefore, I believe those numbers to be much higher. In fact, Dr. Kola Abimbola states that the number of adherents is closer to over 500 million. Why Babaluaiye at this time? Why should we turn to him for healing? How can he assist us in healing humanity? Let me tell you a bit more about Babaluaiye. He is the Orisha of disease, healing, and prosperity. He became widely known for healing during the 19th century smallpox pandemic. The CDC, Center of Disease Control, and the World Health Organization acquired over 50 artifacts of Babaluaiye and other healers. Babaluaiye means Lord, Monarch, Father of the world. They are commonly referred to as healers. Part of the African tradition is teaching by telling stories. Let me tell you a story about Babaluaiye. He was born into a very powerful family, a mother, a father, and siblings. And you know how it is when one is born. They always check to see if the baby has all their fingers and toes. Babaluaiye was different. He had physical disabilities. However, he did possess special powers. But he was teased, ridiculed, ignored, and neglected because of his outward appearances. He was judged and treated unfairly. Anger grew and set in his heart. It grew and grew and grew until one day he became so angry that he could not handle himself or his special powers. He began to fight with others. He fought with Ebola, measles and pox and wounds that appear all over the body. He used his powers to cause immune system overreaction. This caused organs to weaken and inflame, and many died. The elders eventually banished him because of his destructive behavior. He fled to the forest where he existed for some time. I was a member of the Yoruba Temple of Spiritual Elevation and Enlightenment. We used to sing this song, and it goes like this. Ero, ero, eroko, babaluaiye, ero, ero, eroko, babaluaiye, ero, ero, eroko, babaluaiye. We sang that song during his festival time when we were actually doing the grain cleaning. Babaluaiye was exiled into the forest, but there he met the beautiful Orisha Ajay, and she taught him that things that appear to be waste could have much value. He worked with Chapona, who taught him about the multiple uses of the healing powers of the palm tree. He learned about fibrous food that could sweep the intestinal tract clean, and so did the inner and center part of the palm frond. It can be used to clean the energy of the outer body as well as the house. Babaluaiye encountered some of the other Orisha during his time away. He returned to society, and what he saw was turmoil. Disaster and destruction was everywhere, even more than before he left. The impression of pain and suffering was felt by all. Having resolved his differences with his brothers, Bayani and Shongo, as well as other members of his family, Babaluaiye began to set up his shrine office and committed his life to treating and healing humanity, treating psychological, physical, and spiritual areas. Some who knew him from before were initially wary, but soon his reputation grew. Some rejected him even more than before because they were benefiting from the degradation of society. They set about spreading horrible rumors about Babaluaiye. Those he had to fight. Eventually, his practice grew, and he trained up others to assist with the work of healing humanity. Images of Babaluaiye may show him with spots all over his body, with one leg, one arm being maimed. His vessels typically look like a clay pot with spots all over it or holes in it. Some of his implements that's sacred to him include the broom, chains, and other metal objects such as guns, cowrie shells, and camwood red dye. His special foods include palm wine, palm oil, and other palm tree products, cornmeal, beans, bitter leaves, and other special food items that's given to him at special times. Do not eat salt and pepper while working with the energy of Babaluaiye. Do not scrape or scratch metal objects when working with him. It's best to wait until after the sun has gone down before working with his energy. During cleaning rituals, or if someone is healing within the home, it's best to allow the healing period to end before removing and cleaning up items. His medicine, Ero, is Aba. Aba is a special mixture that you can use to rub on your skin. Healing is our birthright. Healing is our birthright. And this story tells us about how one can come to healing. Babaluaiye is the solution for humanity. He saves lives. He's a nurturer, a healer, a protector of the downtrodden. As a balancer of society, he teaches us to embrace universal principles and healing practices that demonstrate the power of love, compassion, and forgiveness in our daily lives. He brings longevity, prosperity, children, good balanced relationships, good health, victory over our adversaries, and success in all that we put our hands to do. Things that he teaches us not to do. Do not ignore or neglect others. Don't allow your anger to consume you. It will eventually erupt out of you. Don't degrade others. A Yoruba proverb states, "A man with a cough cannot conceal himself." Our broken society can no longer conceal itself from the destruction that is occurring right now. It's time for all of us to engage in healing. May Babaluaiye be an everlasting blessing to you and your family. Ashe.
Greetings. Welcome to our grain cleansing ritual demonstration. Make sure that the area where you will be performing the ritual is clear and cleaned. This is a sacred area. Place the bowl of grains on a flat surface, which can be your altar, along with the egg that you will use in the cleansing ritual. Place a towel or cloth under and in front of the table to catch any grains that may fall. Carefully take your egg in both hands. Offer the egg to the four corners. Now, speak your prayers into the pointed end of the egg. Once you have ended your prayer, take the egg and start the cleansing cycle. First circling and touching your head, front to back. Continue slowly in a sweeping motion over your face and continue down to your throat. As you sweep your arms, make sure the motion is away from your body. Sweep down your chest and back. Sweep the front and back of each leg. Lastly, carefully sweep under each foot from heel to toes. Now you may discard the egg in your large paper bag. Cleansing with the egg is done only on day 1. Now we are ready to begin our grain cleansing. Approach the bowl containing your grains. Take a small handful. After you have stepped back from the container, you can begin the sweeping motion, starting as before with your head, using both hands. Circling your head, your face. The front and back of your body. Your arms and your legs. Once you are done, step over to your paper bag and drop the used grains inside. You will repeat the cleansing cycle 6 more times. Once you have done the 7 cleansings, you are done. At this time, you may invite other family members to come and do their ritual. Parents of infants, toddlers, and small children can perform the ritual for them. Older children can be verbally guided. Now you can close the bag containing the grains by folding it from the top down. Pick up your cloth or towel. You can use it to cover the grain container. Make sure you save the folded paper bag with the used grains. You will use it until the ritual period is done. We will give further instructions on how to handle the discarded grains as we come to the end of the ritual cycle. We will repeat this demonstration video daily. We hope that you will join us to gain the healing and cleansing we all need at this time. Ashe.